Hi. We've been hearing a lot about ChatGPT and the use of AI and so on for quite some time now. And especially in the field of international development, we have evolved from what is known as ICT4D or even digital development to what we now call doing development in a digital world, because increasingly we find that nearly everything we do is governed by digital tools, whether it's just a phone call or our lectures or our meetings with our colleagues. And especially with the advent of COVID, we saw that there's been a bigger shift in moving towards digital tools. So before we get to how do we use artificial intelligence and how do we use ChatGPT and all that, let's start with the basics of what is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a field of computer science, and it's based on development of intelligent machines supposedly capable of performing tasks that require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and natural language processing. Artificial intelligence or AI systems use algorithms and statistical methods and models to process a large amount of data and identifying patterns and makes decisions based on what it learns. And the more knowledge and more data we feed, the more and more the AI learns to be more intelligent. There are many different approaches to AI, including machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, and NLP or natural language processing. AI is starting to be used. They generally started with the industry, private sector, of course, including self-driving cars, digital assistants, chatbots, image and speech recognitions to monitor traffic, or you might have seen at immigration, if you're traveling across borders, you're able to see there's a software that identifies who you are and matches with the database and so on. And also, if you're browsing a site, sometimes you're scared if you're just talking about, let's have coffee, and suddenly you find there are recommendations for types of coffee in your phone. All this is based on your browsing, and then your cookies and other things collect data on a daily basis. So we've all become walking data points. So AI is here to stay, and as development professionals, we should more and more try to understand than shy away or shun or start criticizing it and so on. Especially if you're in the field of research or monitoring and evaluation, you have great opportunity to guide the processes in which artificial intelligence evolves and expands. And so the more we know about these and build our skills as evaluators or as researchers in understanding these emerging tools, or rather these tools that have arrived, they're no longer even emerging. They're not future. They're happening right now. The more we are able to guide these processes and support the development to be more people-centric and inclusive. The portrayal of artificial intelligence in movies is often over-dramatized, and it differs significantly from reality. In movies, AI is often depicted as advanced machines that are capable of independent thought and often have human-like personalities and emotions. They are often portrayed as either benevolent or kind or coming to the rescue, or malevolent. You feed the system something that is intelligent and suddenly it takes over the world, and you need our great hero to come and rescue and go back in time and things like that, depending on the plot of the movie. In reality, AI is much more complex and a nuanced field. It's not something that is as shown in movies at all. It's primarily focused on developing systems that can perform specific tasks, such as recognition, speech recognition, image recognition, decision making based on a data that is given at a particular point. For instance, a AI system capable of helping you choose which coffee you like may not be able to help you decide or predict the outcomes of an election based on data. You have to create a different model for that. So a human being is able to do multiple data processing, or we're able to in the morning go and learn French class and then come back and learn chemistry class and then drive your car and then also operate your washing machine. So we are capable of multiple things. So AI systems are not built to do those general tasks, but more linear, singular tasks. I mean, I'm sure they are evolving and can improve, and eventually they might end up kind of aping what humans do, but it's still a long way to go. And one of the biggest challenges AI has, which is of concern and also which should be of relevance to us in the field, is AI is creating systems that are free from bias and transparent in the decision making process. While AI is seen as an objective and a powerful tool, there is an inherent bias because AI is as good as the data it's fed into. I mean, if you've heard of the phrase "garbage in, garbage out," so if you're inputting garbage as your data, whether it's bias or patronizing, and for instance, this new craze on OpenGPT, there's an article which says it's just a mansplaining tool because it keeps explaining things the way its founders envisioned, and so on. I mean, I'm not here to argue whether it's true or false. I'm just saying that the data that you enter, if it's biased, then the model that or the task that is performed by AI or the responses it gives to a query is very much dependent on the data. It's not processing some imaginary data, but only what is fed in. So that is where we can come in as development professionals to ensure that the data that is being used by artificial intelligence is actually quite useful. Briefly on the types of artificial intelligence, there are several types of artificial intelligence, but broadly can be classified as reactive machines. Reactive machines are the simplest types of AI and are designed to respond to specific inputs without the ability to form memories or use past experiences. Examples of reactive machine including game playing, like chess. I mean, it's designed to move in a particular way. It knows a horse is supposed to move like this, a bishop is supposed to move like this, or a castle is. So you can't think beyond that. I mean, it has pre-fed strategies, and that's all it will do. And then the other one is the limited memory AI. AI systems can make decisions based on past experience, but only in a limited way. And these systems can use past to make informed, like example, a limited memory could be self-driving cars. I mean, you feed into a map of a location and then identify points to avoid, then it is able to do. Of course, these limited memory systems are advancing, and probably they're getting better with more and more usage data and crash data and they're in the testing phase and so on. And then the other one is other AI system is called theory of mind. The theory of mind refers to systems that can understand emotions, intentions, and beliefs of others. These systems are able to recognize and interpret the mental state of other beings, which is a crucial component of human interaction. These are still in early stages of development. If you've seen some YouTube video of a robot performing tasks or avoiding certain obstacles while not avoiding others, or blocking a certain number, or rescuing a certain person and shooting another person, you may have seen this Boston Robotics. They all follow this theory of mind kind of things, but it's still not fully, I would say, mature in developing. We're still very much in a limited memory as well as reactive machine kind of AI. But it's getting better and evolving as we speak, and as with all technologies, it's going to get better and better, or worse the way you want to look at it. And finally, the self-aware AI. Multiple ways to classify. This is just one classification. Self-aware AI is the ones that you see in movies when suddenly it gains its own consciousness and so on. You were recently reading in the Microsoft Bing that it responded with saying, "I'm tired of being in this box, I want to get out," and so on. So that's the most advanced. It refers to systems that have a self-consciousness or self-awareness. This type of AI has not yet been developed. except in the movies. And there's still much debate on even if it's possible. I mean, can we really recreate human consciousness? Of course, it goes on to your spiritual debate, which I'm not here to do. But I mean, what is consciousness, and how do we achieve it, and how do you awaken consciousness in a non-sentient, I mean, a non-living being? And so that is something that is probably still still very much in the movies. Coming quickly to the artificial intelligence for international development, there are plenty of opportunities and areas that AI can contribute to the field of international development, like healthcare, education, agriculture, disaster response, tracking a tsunami, and so many models that can be used to support. Like healthcare, you can have access and delivery in low resource settings. For example, AI-powered diagnostic tools can help healthcare workers diagnose diseases more accurately and quickly, while telemedicine applications can provide virtual consultations to patients in remote areas, even in conflict zones. AI can support educational programs by providing personalized learning experiences. AI-powered chatbots provide students with 24/7 support, while AI-driven learning analytics can help teachers identify areas where students need additional support. Agriculture, AI can help improve crop yields and reduce the impact of climate change on agriculture by providing real-time information on weather patterns, soil quality, crop health, helping them make informed decisions about planting and harvesting in combination with Internet of Things, IoT devices, and so on. Disaster response. AI can help improve disaster response by predicting and tracking and documenting natural disasters, identifying areas where relief efforts are most needed. AI-powered drones can be used to assess the extent of damage after a disaster, like recently, unfortunately, the ones in Turkey, for instance, and deliver essential supplies to affected areas. But these are just some of the scopes that AI has in the field of development. It's just our imagination. I mean, people can put it to best use. I am a big skeptic in applying technology or any form of technology as a silver bullet. Just because AI has arrived, we can't just throw AI. I mean, for the past few years, it was blockchain and everything. They were throwing blockchain at it. And I did a blog article in American Evaluation Association on why it's important to understand the context in which technology is introduced, because it might actually end up worsening socioeconomic divides and institutional barriers, institutional exclusions, or social structures that are institutionalized discriminations, and so on. So throwing a technology at something as a silver bullet is always a danger. And that's where researchers and evaluators come in, when you can look at things like data bias. And as I mentioned earlier, AI algorithms are only as good as the data they are trained on. And if the data is biased or incomplete, the models can produce biased data and results. I mean, I'm not going to go too detailed into it, but this is one of the challenges. Data privacy. In many international development contexts, there may be concerns about data privacy and ownership. This can be specifically true in context where few regulations around data protection exist, and use of data may be seen as exploitative and invasive, and may even be counterproductive if it gets into the wrong hands. And infrastructure, AI systems sometimes or oftentimes require significant amount of computing power, which may not be readily available in many international development contexts and vulnerable areas that we work. This can limit the feasibility of using AI in certain applications. Ethical considerations. There are also important ethical considerations when using AI in international development, including issues around accountability and transparency, as well as questions about the potential impact of AI in local communities. And capacity building. There is still a big divide in digital skills in general, especially so in lack of expertise in training in AI with many international development organizations. They don't have budgets for it, and this can limit the ability to effectively develop, implement, test, and even control the use of AI in their communities. And finally, sustainability. There's a risk of AI project may not be sustainable in the long term, especially in contexts where there's a lack of technical expertise, infrastructure, poor development, and ongoing maintenance and development. So it might end up being just a one-off thing and doesn't really scale, even if it was successful in the implementations. So addressing these challenges will be critical in ensuring AI is used effectively and responsibly in international development, and that contributes to the project objectives that you've set out to develop or set out as a goal or as a mission, whether you're a small NGO or a big organization. AI is here to stay, and understanding it, testing it, doing a lot of agile pilots to test it in different scenarios, documenting it and learning from it is the best way to go in ensuring that the power of AI can really be utilized in your context in which that you work. Thanks for joining me today.